Hi everyone, I'm Alex Absalom,
And I'm Hannah Absalom.
my long-suffering wife.
Very long suffering.
And today we want to talk about how to be present to your neighbours at this time.
So, of course, we're still in this crazy, well, certainly in California, we're still in lockdown till May 13th, whatever, 15th, whatever it is. But anyway, we're in this crazy time where people are sort of at home, we're having to be isolated, can't go too near each other. And yet, I think it's fascinating watching how people are operating. I mean, just being in the neighbourhood, people are out and about more, people walking more just because they have to get out to stop themselves going stir crazy. Yep. But people are really open to all sorts of conversations. They've often got more time, they're a bit bored, so they're just up for whatever. Plus, they're more spiritually open. We have found in this time they've just been up for all sorts of conversations and opportunities that we've had and hosted over this time.
I think that spiritual openness is probably a function of fear and worry that's going on. So fear of sickness, fear of death, fear of lack. I think there's a lot of concern about jobs and about what's going to happen to the kids or finances or just the society at large. So health, huge issues. So, and that's even with people who haven't been personally touched by this virus. So there's this very interesting dynamic that's going on that the phrase you said to me actually earlier was how we've seen more yeses recently.
We have. So, I mean, we it's just what we do, who we are. We just sort of reach out to the people around us. So this time our neighbours. And so we've done all sorts of different things, fun things, spiritual things. And we have had so many yeses when we've invited people, particularly from the people who we know. That's who we've had majority of yeses from, people we've got some sort of relationship with. And they're just open. And even the spiritual things from people who we would not have expected. People have said, okay.
Definitely. So what we want to do is take a couple of minutes to just give you some thoughts, some tips on how you can be more present in your context, because it's great to be asking Jesus, how can I grow in this time? And we're all pursuing that stuff. But let's also simultaneously be asking Jesus, how can we grow on mission? And that's a critical task. It's probably the central task the Lord has given us while we're here on earth. So Hannah, let's think about just some practical thoughts on how can I, or how can someone watching this, be more present in their neighbourhood amongst, specifically we're thinking about our lost friends, neighbours, colleagues, family members.
So I think a big thing is just being present in your community. So we always walk anyway, so we...
got to keep her thin.
So we're often out and about.
No tubby middle-aged wife for me.
Oi, you're in trouble. But lost my train of thought now, so terrible.
Walking.
So we walk. We walk in the neighbourhood, and then we're always bumping into people, and we stop and chat. And sometimes it's just a little wave. But sometimes, one time we had like a 20-minute conversation, just in the middle of the street, and we've had lots of those sorts of things. So walking, sometimes it's doing yard work deliberately out front, or just sitting out front sometimes in the evening, get a nice drink and just go, or in the afternoon, cup of tea, go sit outside. But when are people around, and just being present. And then sometimes it's a wave, but often there's a conversation with the most immediate neighbours.
I think people at the moment, because... people are at home so much, or they're on Zoom calls or whatever, when they see someone in real life, they're so pleased and so relieved and so happy to have a conversation. And I think also because so many of the distractions that we normally have been taken away, that there's a greater openness to other things. And so the things that perhaps people have used to blind themselves, many of those have gone away at the moment or are diminished in value. And so we can... if we're believers, we can make the most of this as an opportunity by trying to be more present, being more available for people, making space for that. So I think there's an intentionality that we need to have. One things that I see amongst Christians often when we go to different churches and interact with people is there isn't an intentionality. That means you've got to be deliberate. You've got to make space in your schedule. You've got to choose to get your backside off your comfy sofa and go and be out front. You've got to choose to go for that walk or choose to linger in a moment with someone and see what the Spirit might be up to with that person.
And even if you're up to something, even if you're doing chores or whatever, just be prepared that, somebody might come and you have to stop what you're doing. So just pay attention. I mean, the whole season of this coronavirus stuff anyway, but in the minute that you are given as well this week, pay attention. Okay, Lord, what are you doing? What are you doing in this person right now? Is there a reason you've got me chatting with this person here?
Yeah, so I think the principle of that would be interruptible. It's a great principle for mission. It's interesting how when Jesus is going places, most of his mission takes place, he's interrupted. He's on the way to somewhere and he gets interrupted, and you see these great stories take place. And that's a principle which we need to have as well as we go. So allow yourself to be interrupted. Pray for interruptible moments that the Lord can step in those situations.
So I think it's creating opportunities. I think fun is really important. So
important.
So we just did like a street treasure hunt, and it was basically a quiz, and we had lots of things like, how many teddy bears are in the windows on the street, or which house has got a red front door, or whatever it is. And but we had 10 different families come, and everybody was so positive because it was fun. And people are bored, and who's not up for fun? So
and the threshold for fun has dropped.
Yeah.
Because there's no Disney and there's no, a lot of the regular stuff that people are doing has gone. So I think in some ways it's like good old-fashioned fun is actually back in again.
Yes. So fun. Try and create opportunities for fun.
And then alongside the kind of being interruptible, being intentional, having fun, I think what you're looking for is the meaningful conversations. So we do the chit-chat, obviously, but I think there's a greater willingness right now to go into more meaningful, deeper conversation. Not everyone, but a lot more people are, I think, would be.
So like, how are you doing? How's your job? Have you got job security? How are your loved ones? Have you got any frail members of your family who are susceptible at this time? People want to talk because it's in the back of their minds that they have concerns.
Yeah.
And so people want to talk. And so it's easy going to the meaningful conversations right now. And it's easy-ish to go to the spiritual conversations as well. So when the number of conversations that we've had with neighbours about they're scared because, the husband's having to fire people, or their job is, not on good ground, or whatever it is, and they're scared. And so to be able to say, I'd love to be able to pray for you right now and just ask the peace of Jesus to come. Would that be okay? And people love it, of course, because they're just desperate. They're desperate for anything.
So I think one of the decisions you have to make in your mind is that you're willing to be outed as a follower of Jesus. And what that means is you're all in for Christ, which means you operate like a spiritual person. So we can't do this half-hearted kind of trying to be cool. Yeah, I'm Christian, but you wouldn't know by looking at me sort of vibe. No, that's not going to work. It never worked, but it's really not going to work right now. So you have to be willing to act like a spiritual person with your unchurched neighbours, your unchurched friends. And I think what you're going to find is that the vast majority of them will adore that. They will be so happy and so relieved because probably they don't have other people or many people like that in their life. And so we want to encourage you that as you see these opportunities, as you are intentional in being open, as you allow yourself to be interruptible, as you do fun things, as you have meaningful conversations, that what you're looking to move that funnel towards, as it were, is to have spiritual conversations where you operate openly and intentionally and overtly like a spiritual woman, like a spiritual man or boy or girl. And you respond in ways that Christ would respond in that moment. You respond in ways that you would respond with your Christian friends. And so more often than not, that leads us to the special phrase that we use again and again, which is the question we ask.
We're always asking, can I pray for you? In so many different situations.
Can I pray for you?
Can I pray for you? And it's amazing, particularly in this time, how the majority of people say yes.
So that would be a challenge for you as you watch this, you think about the next few days, which is really try and be intentional. Say, Lord, I want to pray. I want to offer that to a number of people this week. I want to say to some folks, look, this might sound crazy, but I think Jesus wants to help you with your finances. I don't know whether this is a new thought for you, but I believe God would want to help you dealing with your children all being at home. He wants to give you patience and grace for that. or this might sound mad, but I think God can get you a new job. So could we pray for that you'd get a new job after you got, fired, laid off last week? So it's those sorts of things, very tangible, very specific prayers get specific answers. It allows Jesus to glorify himself. And if you do it with great love and great tenderness and compassion, people will feel that and they'll really be impacted by it. So we want to encourage you to step into it. Anything else you want to say before we stop?
No, should I give homework?
Yes, homework.
Okay, so our homework would be just to ask the Lord, what one thing do you want me to do in this week to be present in my neighbourhood or wherever it is that you find yourself being? And if you don't hear from the Lord, then just do whatever you think would be fun. So just do something. Pick something, whether it's super simple or maybe it pushes you a bit, but do something to be more present and engaged in the place you find yourself this week.
And your goal as you look to do that will be to have those spiritual conversations. Some will feel naturally supernatural, some will feel more overtly supernatural. You pray for the healing or whatever. Wherever you end up on there in this scenario, but let's go for it. Let's not look back at this time and think, gee, I wish I made more of it. Because this is going to be one of those times where we look back and go, it was an unusually open time spiritually in the wider world. So let's seize this moment and make the most of it.
So thank you so much for giving us your time and for watching. God bless you and use you in this time.
Super fast. We just wanted to add on to the video that we have got a fantastic pack of resources that will help you and help your church go out and make the most of this incredible opportune time. It's called Church in Your Street, and it's full of practical tips, strategy, biblical wisdom, lists of ideas, example letters, multiple examples of things you might say in particular situations or scenarios. So it's designed that you can take it and you can instantly start sharing it around your church family. You can take it yourself, run with it, use it. And we also give you customizable templates so you can put your church branding and info and other information on it as well. So we'd love you to get hold of that. It is something we charge for because that's part of how we do our tent making. But it's tiered between $29 and $89 depending on the size of your church. And you'll also find in the info below on our website that we give you a coupon to give you even more of a discount. So we want to make it affordable for everyone. And the other thing is we also give you a free taster. So one of the sections in there is called Being Spiritual on Your Street, and that we've made that available as a free download. So we'd love you to get that at the very least. Take that, use that with our blessing and pleasure. And if you can get the whole pack, that I think will be of real benefit to your church and will be a way of supporting what we do as well. So check that all out below and let us know what you think of it. Thanks so much.